This is time for room organization. So you always notice that there's loads of advice about how to set up the perfect listening room, or maybe how to convert your garage or build a new one and have your perfect musical listening experience. However, unfortunately, most of us are not in this situation, and we have to make our actual living arrangements work the best for home stereo. So now I'm going to show you something special. I show you what my living situation used to be for many years and how I made it work for audio. So here I drew a floor plan. You can admire my phenomenal, abysmally poor drawing skills. So this is roughly how it looked like. It was about 650 square feet, something like 65 square meters or so. And this was the entrance to the apartment. It was a one-bedroom apartment. And here I had a kitchen area. I think it was more like this, rather a bigger. I drew it a little smaller than what it is. And at the entrance, I go in, and this was my living room, and this is where the audio was set up. And here, this was a Japanese wall behind, and you could just slide the panels to the side, and then between about here and here, it created an opening. So there was a wall here, and the sliding panel slid back to there. So it opened up to the bedroom, which was behind. Actually, the bedroom was smaller than that. Just looks big now. So what I did is that I put a sofa in here. So this is where you could sit to listen for the music. And I set up one speaker was here and the other speaker was there. And initially I had a rack between the two of them. And this is where the stereo system was sitting. And then I have rearranged it so that I made a rack for the stereo system, and the stereo system came here, plus a separate rack for the turntable. So the turntable was on a separate rack, and then finally I moved the equipment, the amplifiers and everything into a cabinet. And here I placed another cabinet with LPs, and next to it was another cabinet. This was for shoes and stuff. So that's how it, in a living room you have functional items as well. So probably you will need to put your own things somewhere. So you can place a cabinet here and put another cabinet. Maybe if you have LPs, put your LPs there. If not, maybe put your other items there. And then here, this corner, cover it up. And actually here, why did I do it like this? So I arranged it like that because you see, this is the unoptimal arrangement. So I did not draw it very well, but here the living room was wider this way. And this was the shallow side. So to have the best sound, I should have set it up that the speakers are here and they're firing towards there. That would be the optimal setup. And then the sofa would be here. However, I had here the door there to the lanai. So I had a little patio here and the garden there. And if you sit in front, you would block the exit. Plus, this is glass. So the entire surface here was glass. And to have glass behind you, that would be a really nasty thing. So it would not work this way. Plus, in addition, when you go into the apartment, the speakers are right there. That's not a good idea. You will knock them over or damage them or hurt them over the years if they are really in the way. Plus, also, this was here, the way to the bathroom. So like placing your speaker there on the way towards the bathroom, not a good idea either, because you're going to knock over your speaker sooner or later. So this option was out for reasons of practicality and also for reason of having this glass there. Of course, I had a curtain in front of it, like a heavy curtain. So when I listened to music, I had that curtain engaged to avoid those harsh reflections from the glass. And over the years, I put in here an extra sofa. So there was a sofa between the speakers, and that made for a wonderful setting, because if I had a couple of friends over, we could sit here in the couch, and we could also sit here in the sofa, and there was more people, and we could talk to each other. And I had a little coffee table in the center, and we could put there food, tea, drinks, stuff, you know, and have a fantastic audio party. And here, how come this setting worked, and it gave pretty good stereo imaging, pretty good results, and it worked for several reasons. One of them was to have the big cabinets here and there. So these cabinets here, they went almost up to the ceiling. So it meant that as you have the sound waves emanating from your speakers, the sound doesn't here extend to the corner, but gets reflected off this cabinet and off that cabinet, so it's squeezed more inwards, and then it can expand out into the room. And that's what you want to do, to have a little support for your speakers, so the speakers do not see this wide base at the origin of the sound waves. You want to narrow them down, have a little bit of support. And this way I balanced out left and right channel, and for reasons of practicality placed a sofa in there. If you do not have anything in there, it's better for the imaging, but of course you will need to have to make accommodations for living situations and make the living room livable because you live there. If you have a coffee table or anything in between, it's going to affect the bass response negatively. If you keep it very low, it will not affect imaging too much. But if it goes up maybe like 3 feet or a meter high, it's going to impact on the imaging quite a bit, so I advise against that. And also here I had an extra desk, and that was my workbench, so there I did soldering and equipment building and so on. And as a very interesting thing, if you have this thing that you have this sliding panel option, then keep it open while you are listening, because in that case, for the sound waves, you have opened up this long room for the sound waves. So you can have much lower frequencies form. When I engaged the sliding panel and cut off the 2 rooms, then the sliding panel, that had a very uncomfortable echo behind my head, and it really had a terrible effect on imaging and tonality as well. So if you have a situation like that, keep it open, sit there, and don't worry that you are far away from the rear wall. It does good for the imaging. So I hope this little explanation or description helps everyone to make your living room work better with your stereo placement. And thank you for checking in. Bye bye.